Yo, what's up trainers, welcome back to a new video, and in today's video we're going to be diving into the Great League. I would highly recommend you try to use this team for climbing ELO. Definitely with the team composition we got right now, it is a very strong and solid team, and I actually had a very positive run today, climbing around about 100 ELO, had 150 set which I will showcase as well in this battle, but I also had some losses which I'm also going to showcase. For example, this first game, but this first game should have been a W straight away, telling you right now, because I make such a stupid mistake by just misclicking on the screen, and that way I will swap into my SKELEDIRGE at some point, where I was trying to just stay in and win this lead game matchup, and I know I would have won here, and here I accidentally click on my SKELEDIRGE. I saw just when I was editing this video that this battle was also in there, so a bit of heartbreaking to see it once again, but yeah, things like that can happen. I feel like y'all can relate to well, misclicked on your screen once at least, and then just completely throw away the game, because right now, even though we get the perfect farm down here, we will get taken out, and that's going to be very unfortunate for us. So besides that, the thought process behind this team, I don't know if I said it already, but I'm gonna say it again once more, is that with the SKELEDIRGE save swap or with the REGI save swap, depends really on what you have in the back, and both work just fine. You will lure out that ground type which is lurking in the back, and if that's going to be the case, then your SKELEDIRGE or your REGI should be able to shine and play very well in the end game. So as you can see right now, we are going to lose this game, as we will get outpaced to the drill run here, just barely, which is a bit unfortunate, because if we would have gotten that focus blast off early, a bit early, I think 2 or 3 turns before, then I think we still would have been able to win this game. But unfortunately, due to the fact that I misclicked the SKELEDIRGE earlier in this game, we are going to lose, because otherwise I would have probably been able to fire off 2 Shadow Balls against that Lantern, and then probably we would have won this game. But now, as you can see, we actually take an L. So take that in hindsight, so you know that we would have actually been able to win that game, but we lost it because we just played very bad there. So we play against a regional champion or something like that. You can see that with the shirt, so that's always very nice to play against. And now let's see if we can actually have some play here. So we save swap into the SKELEDIRGE, and we actually they actually reply with a Lantern. This is not basically not the typical thing you want to bait out with the SKELEDIRGE save swap, but still it's okay. Hoping they have something in the weak in the back to the REGI anyways, basically because I'm expecting they have another water type, that's why they bring in the Lantern, and if that's going to be the case, then we should still be in a good spot, especially because we get the farm down here, which is very nice. And now we can actually fire off some Scalds here. I'm actually going to decide to not do that and just hard swap into the Sandslash here, or into the REGI here, and we actually outpace there, and I'm going to make a nice play here, but unfortunately it's not going to pay off, as a Focus Blast would easily KO, and a Zap Cannon maybe gives the chance of debuffing. That's why I also shielded first. So my opponent could have actually read that, but they didn't, and now we actually get the debuff, so we are fortunate, which is very nice for us, and this way we can actually overfarm slightly, get hit by a drill run, but this drill run just did less than the previous one would have done due to that debuff, and now we can actually fire off this Focus Blast to take out the Sandslash here. And here I'm just clicking and wanting to get to the Zap Cannon as fast as we can possibly can here, just to make sure that we can well, output a lot of damage. But we're actually going to secure that attack here, which is a bit of a mistake if I'm looking back at it right now, because if I actually went for the move, I would have gotten 2 potential debuffs on their attack, while, well, now I'm only getting 1 debuff and they actually get to another move as well. So that's a bit of a misplay, to be honest, because otherwise I maybe would have gone to for the Scald as well, because this damage would have already been registered then. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's a big misplay. I easily would have won this game, because now I'm going to lose it once again, because they outpaced me barely to the move. I will get to the that's looking back at your battles, you can actually see the difference in what makes you win or lose a game. And once again, this game felt very winnable looking back at it right now. So hopping into the next game, we pick up a perfect lead and they SAFESWAP into an Annihilape. So right now they're completely core broken by the SKELEDIRGE in general. So we want to preserve HP on this thing. Although I'm a maniac, so I'm just going to call the bait here because I felt like they were gonna bait anyways. And we actually call the Sandslash, which is huge because that just puts us into a position where we are, well, leading this mid-game matchup and we can actually just securely shield now. They're probably gonna go for Slashes anyways. At this point, there's no point for them going for the Shadow Ball. Here I overfarm a bit too much, but honestly it's not going to matter as I'm just going to well, get the full farm down here. Because if they bring in, or not the full farm down, they probably would have gone into another Sandslash looking back at it right now. So this is the right call. They're gonna let this move go through, and if they're gonna bring back in that Alolan Sandslash, then we're gonna, well, just burn them down to ashes, to be completely honest with you. But they bring in a Mantine, and with the Mantine we can actually just fire off these Shadow Balls and get this thing as low as we can. So I actually made another Shadow Ball there. So I should have clicked on the Shadow Ball, but I wasn't sure, so I went for the Disarming Voice. We get the shield anyway, so it's not going to matter. We send in the Registeel, and even if they have Water Pulse, because they're gonna throw here, so I'm expecting they have, which they do, that's not going to matter too much. As you can see, it doesn't do that much damage. We can easily tank one. I only have to be aware of a catch here. They try to catch, we swap, and that's going to be a GG. Very well played. So right now we are 3-0. If we played these earlier battles better, but as you can see, this team just puts in the work. I've already shown you the 2 losses where, honestly, looking back at it, and one I don't count personally because I misclicked myself, is that we actually should have won all the games so far, looking back at it, but we didn't because we played bad. But that happens sometimes, right? So here we actually have to shield, and I could have shielded the first one, to be honest, to take less damage from the second one, and maybe that was the better play. But honestly, I don't think it's going to matter too much. So they bring in a Gligar here, and Gligar obviously is a bit of a core breaker for this team. But honestly, still we have some decent play against it because we have the Icy Wind obviously on the Poliwrath, and also the Incinerate just do so much damage. Because we Icy Winded them, we can actually let this move go through and just go for a Disarming Voice just to make sure that we apply a lot of pressure on their HP, and they actually decide to shield here, which is fine. So I think we can well, easily get to a Zap Cannon here and take them out, but they will also get to a Dig here. So I'm just gonna call a bait here at this point. Why? Because if they decide to just full send it, that's fine as well, because they're 1 stage debuff, so I would rather take just this first Dig than having the potential of getting baited and then just waste everything. So if they bait here, that would be fine anyways as well, because then we would have outpaced to the move. So yeah, it was kind of a well, fair thing to use my shield at the second moment. And now what do they have in the back? It's going to be a Sandslash, and now we need a catch to win this game. Do we get the catch? Yes, we do, and that way we secure this win. So that was actually very close in the end. My opponent here tries to undercharge it, which is obviously the best, the right play. They get the farm down, but honestly we outpace by a turn right now. I think 2 turns maybe even, and that's just going to seal the deal here for us. So that catch won us the game, and that just gets to show once again that this team, even when you are in sticky situations, can actually overcome it. So Gligar Lead is probably the toughest lead for this team, to be honest. I haven't seen a lot of Gligar Leads today in my sets, but honestly, if there is a lead which you don't like to see, then it's going to be that Gligar. And the way I like to play this in general is just to go for an Icy Wind, get one shield from both sides, because you don't want to get hit by that aerial ace as well. And then after that you try to catch the aerial ace either on your SKELEDIRGE or on your Registeel, and both of them is fine. Just depends on what you think is going to be tougher for them to have to face in the 1 shield scenario. So far, so good, you would think, because we do bait out the Mudboy, but unfortunate thing is that they outpace us here, and they go for the Scald here. They get the knockout, and that's just a bit unfortunate, to be honest. Very rough for us right now, as they already at the move, and this just gets to show that we are in a very sticky situation, because they're gonna get to another move as well. We do get the debuff, but the thing is we can't farm them down and leave with a move, and that's just going to be so unfortunate for us, because I don't expect my opponent here to bring a to bring their Gligar in, because then they have to shield. And as you can see, we don't get the farm down either, so that's very unfortunate for us. And what do they bring in? They bring in the Fereligatr. There's nothing I can do, honestly, because the Fereligatr still has one shield. If it's a Shadow one, it's not a Shadow one, it doesn't really matter. Their damage output is just going to be too much for me to overcome with a non-shielded Registeel on the back. So, we faced an Annihilape on the lead. Also a tough lead, but honestly this is not the worst, because we actually have some play here, because our Scalds will do a decent amount of damage. So this team is able to overcome sticky situations like these, because SKELEDIRGE in the back is honestly a very strong mon, which can actually core break a lot of teams right now, and that's why I'm using it as well. It's a nice bait out for ground types, and also being able to do a lot of damage against things like a Bastion, things like a well, whatever water type there is, because of that raw Shadow Ball damage that just gets them low, where you can actually output a lot of damage and then just get that mon out of the way, right, and then being able to shine and use your last Pokemon to sweep. So as you can see here, I felt like they were gonna bait out something that was weak against, for example, a Skarmory, like a Lantern in the back, anything like that. So I felt like the energy on SKELEDIRGE was more important in this game than to use it later than to use it right now. And what do they have in the back? They actually have a Skarmory. So it was a Lantern bait out. I didn't have a Lantern anyways, and my SKELEDIRGE up energy is just so deadly, where as you can see right now, I can easily hard swap back in. If they go for the Brave Bird, that's going to be perfectly fine, to be honest, because we will be able to farm him fully down, and then afterwards we will have two moves ready to go for a Shadow Ball first, and then one Incinerate, we will get to another Shadow Ball as well. So our only lose con there was to go for a Disarming Voice, which we didn't, so we actually take that win. GG's. So we pick up a very nice lead for us, even though this on paper looks like a flying against a fighter type, looks like a bad matchup, but they're running Snarl, so they're doing absolutely no fast move pressure, as our fast move is actually neutral due to the fact that they are dark, right? And we can just outpace or spam out these Icy Wind. We don't outpace, they outpace us to their move, to be honest. But still, the first one we shoot up just to make sure that we don't get hit by the hardest, well, but with the maximum amount of damage they can do, because now they're one stage debuffed, and this just means that we will easily be able to win this mid-game matchup. Here I'm gonna play into the Simpitai, hoping that this next Icy Wind will actually KO, but they survive with 1 HP. So that's a bit unfortunate, to be honest, because now we will lose some extra HP on our Poliwrath, but still we have a decent amount and we can get to a move probably. So what do they bring in? They bring in a SKELEDIRGE, or a SKELEDIRGE I should say, a Venusaur. That's a weird looking SKELEDIRGE, right? But that's going to be a Venusaur, and we have the perfect answer for it in the back with the SKELEDIRGE. Could also bring in Registeel, but honestly the fast move pressure of the Incinerate, it's just going to make sure that my opponent is going to swap out, where with the lock-on damage we are not doing anything. What do they have in the back? It's going to be a Bastion, and this game is over. We have the switch or the alignment we need, and Bastion obviously is a very strong mon. Right now in the current meta, it's a bit of a tough one to use. I got a rank 1 regular one, so not a Shadow one, but a rank 1 normal one, non-Shadow, which is very nice. I've used it previous seasons and honestly had a lot of fun with it, because I think it's a very nice one. But right now in the current meta, there's so many water types, it's just not the place for Bastion to shine really. Here my opponent is deciding to shield. At this point there's no point for there's no reason for me to shield any move. I can just easily, well, let my Registeel go down here, but honestly they hard swap in. We can go for a Shadow Ball here, and that's going to be enough to take them out and secure this dub. So yeah, that's going to be this game. So let's hop up, swipe up, and go to the next game. So in the next game we face up a Whishcash. So Whishcash on the lead is obviously where we want to see it, and if you see a Mudboy on the lead, then you know that your backline is going to shine as well. So in the beginning I just like to shield this first move up, just go for a Icy Wind or Scald first, and they actually go for a Scald. So if we wouldn't have got there a debuff on our attack, that would have been absolutely the worst case scenario for us, shielding and also getting the debuff. But luckily for us we didn't get the debuff there, so in that case we actually did a pretty good shield, I would say, because we didn't get the damage there. So here they go for a for the Shadow Ball straight away, and that's actually very nice for us because now we can get to disarming voices, meaning that they will actually have to use both of their shields as well to win switch, and otherwise we will be able to get a nice amount of farm on our Skeledir, or on our Poliwrath I should say. So yeah, that's just a fairly decent trade for us, because I'm not thinking or expecting that my Ice Water type combination of or charge move I should say is going to be something that they appreciate in the back. So I'm expecting them to come back in with their with the what's it called, the Mudboy, the Whishcash, which they actually do. And at this point I just want to get this thing out of there, and I think in the once my Registeel is just going to beat whatever they have in the back with the moves that I have left, right. Focus Blast and Zap Cannon both hit insanely hard to basically one shot or two shot anything in this meta. And as you can see, they have a Bastion. We can easily outpace them to 2 Focus Blasts here, and that's going to be a GG. Very well played, and my opponent knows it as well, and that's going to be a GG. So hopping into the next match, we actually pick up a fairly annoying lead. We're not going to hit each other for any super effective damage on our fast moves, but honestly our charge moves are going to be more threatening, especially because they have fly. I'm deciding to let this move go through, which is a bit of a ball play because we just lost our Poliwrath completely, and they can easily shield up this move and just commit to the farm down. So not the best play honestly, but still not the worst. Here my opponent makes a slight misplay because they probably think that their Talonflame is stronger, because I just let my Poliwrath go there. But well, they're sort of right, because we have a steel type lurking in the back. But still, this matchup we have right now is not the worst. We can easily go over farm by 1 and then go for the disarming voice. And my opponent here decides to come back in. I'm not calling that they're gonna go for a flame charge. And even if they would have done that, that still would have done an amount of damage that we didn't want to take, because we want to preserve HP as we are kind of low anyways. So here I'm going to catch a fly, which is a nice play from us. That way we do preserve some HP on our SKELEDIRGE here, and we are also able to just get this Talonflame so low that we can actually probably knock it out with a Shadow Ball later if we can get to a Shadow Ball. So now 2 Zap Cannons actually KO this Trevenant. I think that's a bit of HP, or what's called rank dependent. So if you got a high IV Trevenant, that's maybe going to be different, because as you can see we actually 2-shot this Trevenant, and now my opponent just made a big mistake. They think they have to back-to-back moves. I am only 1 off. I'm gonna get a sneak through and I'm gonna win CMP against my opponent here. So what looked like a very rough match in the beginning, a very rough start as well, because we lost our Poliwrath due to the fly there. We are actually able to just manage our energy very well and take this dub as well. So that's a GG, very well played, and we hop into the next game. So picking up a fantastic lead for us, and they save swap into a Mandibuzz. So straight away I could have gone into my Registeel, but honestly I want to get this Mandibuzz a bit lower, where then 1 Zap Cannon is going to be enough. Also I'm gonna go for an Icy Wind just to make sure that there's not going to be any chances for them winning this mid game matchup, and I'm going to overfarm and hopefully catch a aerial ace here, which we do. So that's huge. There's nothing they can do now to win this mid game matchup, as they are debuffed. They're already so low where 1 Zap Cannon will KO, and maybe even a Focus Blast as well, so I might go for the Focus Blast. Also, if I just make sure that I'm overfarming enough, I will always outpace the Stunfisk here to a Focus Blast. And if that's going to be the case, once they bring it back, I will guarantee a shield back, or they're just going to completely let their Stunfisk go. So my opponent is deciding to take some advantage from the dismatched switching timer here. Which is absolutely fine, because now I can easily just go for a Focus Blast and then swap into my Poliwrath once they reach the Earthquake. And looking back at it, maybe I could have shielded this one, because you know, like for 100% certainty that they will throw the Earthquake first, and then their next move is going to be the last final call, which in January is the cheaper move, right? But looking in the hindsight, I didn't really need it to shield there, because my Poliwrath already had enough energy to threaten whatever they had in the back. And do we get to another move? We don't. And now they have a Lantern up energy, which is a bit threatening honestly for our backline right now, but still still we are able to reach a Zap Cannon before they reach a potential Thunderbolt, and they decide to let this move go through, which is used, and now both of their Pokemons are sort of in the range where Incinerate is maybe strong enough to farm them both down. And that's my guess here, so I'm just going to go for a, well, trying to go for a Focus Blast, also making sure that my opponent basically has to throw there, or they're gonna have to use a shield. Here they hard swap once again into a their Mandibuzz without looking, because maybe if they stayed in, they would have been able to take a shield with the Spark them, or with another Surf, because I wouldn't be able to farm them all the way down. But now I'm actually able to reach double Disarming Voices before they will reach a move, and that's going to be enough for us, or be enough for us to seal this deal, because one more Incinerate and we actually get to the Shadow Ball as well, and we're gonna take this game, and that's going to be a GG. Very well played to our opponent, and we hop on to the next game, if I'm correct. No, I think this was the last game of this video. So I hope this video was a great showcase of this team, how strong it is, and honestly it helped me climb to a bit under 2700 ELO. As you can see, 5-0 set. I'm like 2670 or something like that. So hoping you trainers can maybe try to use this team for yourself. I think it's a very cheap and affordable team, besides the Regi Steel, which a bit, well, of a tougher Pokemon, but honestly the game has been out for a while now, so I'm guessing all of you probably have a Great League Regi Steel. So yeah, make sure to check out this team, try it for yourself to climb some ELO, and I will see you in the next video.